In the last video, we learned the properties of real numbers. Now we will use those properties. So, I ask you, what are like terms? Like terms are expressions with the same variable or exponent. So like terms have the same variable or exponent. We're going to focus on the exponent property, or the exponent we're going to focus on the exponent, we're going to focus on the variable like terms, and we'll worry about exponents later. Because if we can get the variables down, the exponents will be second nature when you get to them. So like terms have the same variable. So let me give you an example. When we see 3x plus 5x, what we see is a coefficient, which I'm going to underline in orange, coefficient. This is a coefficient, which is basically just a math term for a number beside the variable. And then what we have here is the variable. Okay, this is the variable. And then we repeat that, 5x. So when we have like terms, those are terms which let me circle in pink here. This is a term. This whole thing is a term. So when we have like terms, that means they have the same variable, but they may have different coefficients. And in that case, when that is the case, what we can do is combine the coefficients. So this would be equal to 8x. And now let's just picture this in a different way for you over here, okay? Let me tighten this up a little bit. Okay, so this equals 8x, which we know now. But let me tighten it up for you. What we're going to do is 3x plus 5x. Why are these like terms, and why can we combine them? Think about that for a second. The reason they're like terms is because this expression is equivalent to x plus x plus x. Or, just to simplify it for you, it is equivalent to having x, 3x's. Okay? 3 times x is the same as 3x's. Much the same, 5 times x is like having 5x's, or 5. Okay? So what we can do is simply combine the two, or add the two, to get 8x's. So that is why you can combine like terms. So let me show you what is not like terms. What is not like terms is 2x plus 2y. Why do you think these aren't like terms? Well, because they have different variables. They have the same coefficient, but that doesn't matter. They have different variables, and we can only combine when we have the same variable. So this is an x and an x, and this is a y and a y, but we don't, if we can't solve for x, we can't combine these, okay? So these are not like terms. All right, so just to review this concept for just a little bit longer, when we have expressions with the same variable, they can be combined. And you can do this in bigger, longer equations, which you will do in the practice session. If they don't have the same variable, they cannot be combined. But they can and most times will have different coefficients, which a coefficient is just a fancy term for the number beside a variable. Okay? All right. Let's move on to some practice problems with combining like terms. I'll put each one in a different color so you know where the beginning and end is. Once I've written them out, I want you to go ahead and practice them for yourself before I even start. 4x plus 6x, 7 plus 3 minus 5, and let's go over here, 5y plus 2 plus 3y, and back to green, 2a plus 4b minus a. Okay, go ahead and give these a try. Then I'll walk through them with you. All right, let's approach the first problem here, 4x plus 6x. So we have with different coefficients, same variable. Okay, great. So we know that we can combine this, and we don't have to do an equals. This can just be combined. It's 10x. We could say it's equal. It is equal. It is equal to 10x. But also I can just simplify 4x plus 6x to 10x. Let's move on to 7 plus 3 minus 5. Okay, so this one is an example of coefficients. Well, they're not coefficients when they're by themselves, they're just constants. But basically, this is the same concept. We can combine numbers, and we can do it in a number of different ways. We could do 7 plus 3, which is 10 minus 5, to get 5 equals 5. That's one way to do it. 7 plus 3 minus 5 equals 5. But there's other ways to do it. 3 minus 5 is minus 2 plus 7. That's also equal to 5. So we can combine those terms in a multitude of ways. Now we move up here to 5y plus 2 plus 3y. We can combine the y's, and we have 8y plus 2. Now, here, important point. At this point, we cannot solve this equation because we just have, well, we can solve it, but not with the steps you've been given so far. We just have 8y plus 2, and the 2, we would have to do some further algebraic manipulation to solve it, which we'll get into later. Okay, 2a plus 4b minus a. Okay, when we have a minus a here, we can combine a negative a with a 2a to get 4A plus 4B. Okay, so that was the video on combining like terms, a skill that will serve you very well in your algebra journey to come. See you next time.